Welcome back. Just busting through hour two, breezed right by. Coming into this spot, Dow Jones down 57, not horrible on the day. Bitcoin at 9,600, down $50, but still holding that 9,000 level. So there's some good news there. Years ago, I used to watch college football. One of my favorite guys, the analyst, was Keith Jackson. Used to say, "We are going to have a barn burner tonight." And we're going to have one right now as we're joined by nationally syndicated radio host Wayne Allyn Root. His show, Wayne Allyn Root, Raw and Unfiltered, can be heard 6 to 9 Eastern on the USA Radio Network all across the country. Wayne, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Great to be on with you.
So, Wayne, I have a bunch of local business owners who have been aggregating in Staten Island, New York here, saying that the government's calling balls and strikes on who can work. You had this big reopen rally. I think you started the fire burning. Tell us how that's going now. It looks like it's catching on.
As a kid growing up in New York, I was a New York kid in Mount Vernon, New York, and I used to listen to Howard Stern on the radio. And Howard Stern would say, next Tuesday, I'm going to have a rally and we'll show up in New York City on a certain address, and 10,000 people would show up. And I always thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could do something like that? Wouldn't that be wild? So on my radio show about a month ago, I said, let's have a rally. Let's have a caravan so we don't offend the government and Wayne Root doesn't get arrested, because I know they're looking to arrest me. And the governor of Nevada doesn't like me. So I said, so we don't violate any guidelines, let's just have a caravan that dominates the Vegas Strip. And let's get as many of us as we can to that event. And I didn't advertise it. I didn't promote it. I just said it on the radio a few times. I had no idea who was showing up. I pull up to the event. And there's 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I almost fainted. It was the most incredible thing you've ever seen. We had thousands of cars, and we wound up dominating the Vegas Strip for 3 hours. We filled an empty Vegas Strip because, of course, the Strip is closed. There's nothing open. There's no casino. So we drove down the Strip, and it took 3 hours from the first car to the last car.
And Wayne, what were you asking for in this rally? What was the purpose of the rally? Was it just to reopen?
Yeah, reopen the Nevada economy. And sure enough, within 10 days of that rally, the governor of Nevada announced the first reopening of the economy. It's not fully reopened yet, but there was a phase in, and he overnight he changed from, I have no idea when we're reopening, and couldn't give us any idea. We had that rally, and then there were other rallies in the state too, with 500 people or 1,000 people. Nobody got anything close to what I did. I believe my rally was the biggest rally in the history, certainly the biggest caravan rally in the history of the Vegas Strip. But within 10 days, partial reopening, and a few days after that, now dine-in restaurants are open. So a lot of things have moved forward, I think, as a result of the pressure I put on the governor.
Wow. Hey, Wayne, this is John. Years ago, when the Occupy folks were taking over downtown New York, me and my brother and a band of a few other guys had a counter protest. We had the Occupy a Desk protest. And we actually had a job fair in Zuccotti Park. And I was just telling Frank before the show that if this continues, a lot of business owners who never want to pick up a pitchfork and actually get out there and rally because they got work, they're coming to me and others and saying, we got to do something. And I said to Frank, wouldn't it be justice if we went and got a whole bunch of small business owners and contractors and other people that care in Zuccotti Park to restart New York? That would be justice.
I used to always say that the way to end a Occupy rally would be to offer them all jobs. They'd run. None of them ever want to work. So offer them a job and they're going to scatter. But
Wayne, if I can, before we run out of time, I want to play this piece of video of the president yesterday talking about his use of hydroxychloroquine, which a lot of doctors have said very, very complimentary things about. And you got to assume the president has access to some pretty good health care. This was the president yesterday.
To be taking it. I happen to be taking it.
Hydroxychloroquine?
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right. I'm not going to.
The interesting thing about that, Wayne, is not only the fact that he's taking it, but it was the media reaction. Even so, the so-called conservative outlets, they lit him up over this. Neil Cavuto, I thought he was going to have a heart attack describing the side effects of hydroxychloroquine, and he was warning people, don't take it. He had a panel of medical experts to all come on and denounce the president. You took to Twitter, and said you couldn't believe what Neil was doing. The president actually retweeted you. Give me your take on what the president said yesterday on the media reaction to it.
Well, all I could tell you is that I had a New York doctor on my show multiple times. Vladimir Zelenko, I believe was his name, from Rockland County, Orthodox Jewish community. And he came on my show back 6 weeks ago and said he had treated 750 people with hydroxychloroquine plus Z-Pak plus zinc. That's the key. Zinc is the most important part of that triage, by the way. And he said out of 750 people, everybody is well now. And then he came on again 2 weeks later and said now it's 1,500 people and 2 have died, 1,498 have recovered. And the 2 died had major underlying health conditions, including one with leukemia. So this seems to be a miracle treatment, something that brings people back from the dead. I saw on Fox News a Dallas doctor who's going to be on my radio show in the next couple of days, who said every person she's treated with hydroxychloroquine is very sick and gets better within a matter of hours and is fine within 48 hours. So anyone who's against this has got Trump derangement syndrome. We live in a time where everyone's so scared of getting coronavirus. Well, here's your answer. If you happen to get it, if you're one of the tiny percentage who gets it badly, 98% will recover. If you die from it, the odds are very strong. You're over the age of 75 or maybe even living in a nursing home or very, very sick. So if you're young and you're healthy, you have no reason to be scared. If you get it, you'll be fine in 98% of the cases. And if you happen to be in that 2%, here's the answer, it appears. Hydroxychloroquine plus zinc. And yet, people like Neil Cavuto are hysterically negative against it.
Wow.
You explain that to me. I can't.
Well, Wayne, I can't explain it either. There's another network that's no longer that conservative, if you ask me. We're up against it. If we do wind up getting the permit for Zuccotti Park, could we possibly get you to join us?
It's possible. We'll see how things go in the next couple of weeks, whether flying to New York. There's no more direct flights between Vegas and New York.
All right. Well, you guys tune into Wayne Allyn Root tonight, raw and unfiltered, between 6 and 9 Eastern, every single night. Nationally syndicated radio show on USA Radio. And Wayne, thanks for giving us a few minutes today. Really appreciate it.
God bless. RootForAmerica.com is the website. RootForAmerica.com.
For America. We're all rooting for America. Those of us that are patriots, those on the left are not rooting for anything except more death, more fear, more fright, more hysteria. More liquid lunch for you. Pop open a cold one tomorrow again at noon, right here. Same bad time, same bad channel. More liquid lunch.